Hi, everybody. Steve Tarter, another edition of Tarter Sauce. Delighted to have back with us Jake Hamann from Peoria Innovation Alliance, Executive Director. Jake, you are one busy guy. And reason I say that is because I've got the list here. You can't see this, but we'll tell you about it. The activities that are coming up in another week or so. Peoria On Purpose. Tell us, first of all, what is Peoria On Purpose?
Yeah, so thanks for having me again, as always. So Peoria On Purpose is one of our pillars of the Peoria Innovation Alliance. So really focused around our storytelling, around the good things going on here in the area and kind of our civic pride, community pride type of stuff. So yeah, so Peoria On Purpose and 309 Week specifically. I can't take credit for the idea of the name. That actually came from Josh at the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, we'll give credit what credit is due.
Yep.
And it's 309 Week.
Yeah, March 9th, right?
Okay.
Third month,
Got
9th
it.
day. Yep, so that happens.
I'm thinking of the zip code or the area code.
It does tie into that. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's next week. So this 309 Week is really just a series of events. A lot of them are already happening. It's not like we've created a bunch of new stuff, but we have created a few different events, but really just trying to highlight some of these things that are these free public events.
Free, that's a good word.
Yeah, free public events that are already happening in the community, and showcasing, people are always saying, well, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing going on. Well, here's just 1 week and there's a lot of stuff.
Now, if somebody wants to check out because there's quite a few events, we can mention some of them, but there's a dozen events. www.peoriaonpurpose.com/309week.
Correct.
And I'm sure it's available, maybe the Convention Visitors Bureau has it up as
and
well.
all the events are on Facebook, and then they have links to where you can RSVP through, whether it be Meetup or 309 Ticks, the local ticket thing that Peoria Magazine's put out. So all the information's on there.
Why don't you pick out a few things here, give somebody an idea of what's coming, because I see one thing here, next Tuesday, a week from today, business listing workshop down at Peoria Made.
Yep.
Your office just down the street here on Main Street, downtown Peoria, right across from the courthouse, with the city of Peoria. What's that about?
So the city of Peoria, and a lot of people don't know this, right? They offer, they have a couple brochures actually that are actually doing a course around helping small businesses get listed on services like Yelp, TripAdvisor, like a Google business page, those types of things. So a lot of people don't know those exist or how to use them.
Right.
So that will be kind of walking through. Kevin Evans from the city is going to kind of walk through that with these businesses. Free workshop, once again, to walk through those different services and help them get listed on there.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Here's one at the Washington District Library, again, a week from today in the evening, 6 o'clock, Teen Anime Workshop. Is this working on art?
Yeah, art kind of stuff. Yep, they're at the library, and they have a couple teen specific programs that they're doing here. I wanted to make this, like we were talking about, we wanted to make this a community effort. So reached out to the various kind of economic development chambers within the region, and they came back with those events. So yeah, they'll be doing that one on Tuesday. Around art and anime and those types of things.
And then we have Starting Your Business in Illinois workshop at the Peoria Next Innovation Center, just the other direction.
Right.
Everything's on Main Street, it seems like.
Pretty much, yeah.
But that's Thursday, a week from this Thursday.
Yep.
What's that? Is that something that they do routinely?
Yeah, so that one's put on by the SBDC.
Right.
And it's a lot of information around the legal side of, getting your business set up, getting started in Illinois.
Again, small business.
Small business, startups, those types of things. So they do that one every 2 weeks or every other month. It might be, I forget and I apologize. But it just so happened to land within 309 weeks, so we included that one into our calendar as well.
The same day, the same time, a week from Thursday, Gateway Building, Illinois Smart Mobility, the Movement of People Workshop. Yeah. What are we going to learn in that?
So that one is actually a result of a bigger meeting that happened a couple weeks ago in Bloomington Normal. I don't know if you may have seen it in the paper, but the Panagraph did a story on it. But there was a session held over at State Farm around smart mobility in Illinois. So it had some folks from the state, from
driverless cars, or what?
A combination. So CASE is kind of the acronym now: connected, autonomous, shared, and electric.
Ooh.
So
all encompassing all of those.
And that's really the smart mobility is kind of all encompassing because I think fully autonomous is a ways down the road.
Right.
But these other things are here now. So that started as kind of a statewide thing. Well, then out of that came 3 different workshops or separate groups. And we're hosting one of those groups, which is the movement of people here in Peoria. So the other 2 are movement of agriculture and movement of goods.
Oh.
So we're hosting that one here.
And who's going to be taking part in that?
So that one's really some local officials, Tri-County Regional Planning, EDC, Hanson Engineering, those types of places. And then that one's going to be led by Illinois Autonomous Vehicle Association, I believe.
Oh.
But we'll have some people from the Innovation Alliance, of course, participating in that discussion.
That's at the
as well.
Gateway Building.
That's
if we
the
didn't
Gateway
mention
Building.
that.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Also that Thursday, you're going to have to be busy on Thursday, a week from this Thursday.
Yeah.
And that's at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. This is a panel you're on with some other folks in the area, and an interesting movie. Why don't you tell us about that? That's
Yeah.
at 5:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, so that one, we've been working with our friends and partners at the Riverfront Museum for a while, actually since last year to get the date set. But we'll be, like you said, we'll be hosting a panel. Myself, Christine Deering from Bump Boxes, Dr. Luke Haverhalls from Natural Fiber Welding, and Christelle Frausto from Mezcal and Meal. She's starting a business up there on Prospect in the old bakery, in the old Treskers building.
Oh, and
But
what kind of business?
It's kind of a cocktails, and it's focused on women. Really cool idea and concept that she has. But if you know Christelle at all, she's like, I don't know how she's in so many places at once, but she's super involved.
But she's going to be in those panels. So
So she'll be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's super involved in the community and doing some great things. She's an interesting perspective too, because she came from Chicago a few years ago, and has absolutely fallen in love with Peoria. So it's a great story.
Good.
And then the movie we're doing is called General Magic. It's won several film festival awards, but it's about the first failed, I shouldn't say first failed, but the first smartphone startup out in Silicon Valley. A lot of people have never heard of because they raised a lot of money and they failed miserably. But
Which
out
is
of
not
that-
unusual.
It's not unusual,
Yeah.
but what's the interesting part of it, and it's really in that whole mantra of failing forward, of almost all the people that are in that movie that they highlight are now leaders at Facebook,
Other
Apple,
companies.
Microsoft. They've gone on to be really successful. So, but a lot of people never hear those stories, right? So this really highlights that.
So the message is, if first you don't succeed,
Right.
yeah, then get on the train and they'll go somewhere else.
Exactly.
And then we have Build Night, at the
Yeah.
River City Lab. Now that sounds like something hands-on,
It is, yep. So River City Labs is our local makerspace
right?
out in North Peoria. So they actually host this weekly, every week, from 7 to 10. So they have a build night for their members and an open house that they just kind of open up their doors and let anybody come in. So that's happening on Thursday.
So all these different things, somebody might be watching this or listening to this and think, what is there a general theme here? I mean, you mentioned it was, if you want something to do, you find it here. What is the idea to repeat something like this on an annual basis or periodic?
Yeah, I think so, on an annual basis. And the first event we're doing on Monday is really kind of, I don't know, to set the week in motion, because this whole thing is about, really for us, is around civic pride, combating apathy, right? As you know, as being around the media for a long time, we have a very apathetic community in some cases, right?
Well, and sometimes worse than that. Sometimes
Right.
it's you can't get anywhere here.
Right, right.
It's just negative.
There's nothing to do.
Just negative.
Yeah, it was a terrible place. But the speaker that we're bringing in, Jeff Siegler is his name, has an organization called Revitalize or Die. And he's pretty bold.
That sounds like it.
Which is great, but he's hosting the Civic Pride Workshop on Monday, all day long workshop around the 5 points of civic pride. There's actually going to be kind of a homework session, if you will, over lunch to go out to some of the local restaurants, post positive reviews, really to kind of raise that awareness up. And then at the end of it, being able to come up with some type of civic pride campaign that we can instill and put into place.
And then we should mention that's Monday.
Yep.
Coming up on the 9th, and it's 9 to 5. But you probably can take whatever time you want if you don't have the whole day. You could
Yeah, you could pop in. There's going to be some certain portions. The morning is more kind of setting the groundwork around, hey, here's these 5 points.
Right.
Doing some breakout sessions, lunch, and then
he
some
speaks
stuff
in the
like
morning?
Yeah. He
Okay.
speaks in the morning.
And that's at the Gateway Building down on the riverfront.
Correct.
if
Yeah.
anyone-
And that's one that we are trying to get RSVPs for. Doesn't, like I said, doesn't cost anything. We're just trying to understand how many people.
Yeah, that's the
to
beauty of
expect.
this whole program. It's free. Yeah, you might have to get online or let somebody know you're coming or want to come. But what a great idea. Jake, I need to ask you because you've been extremely busy since the Peoria Innovation Alliance launched in May 1. I mean,
Yep.
I knew you were kind of working on it long before that. But so you're coming up to your first year. What are your takeaways? And obviously, it's not a full year yet. You surprised things happen that you weren't aware. How could you? You can't tell the future. But
Right.
in going this route with innovation, trying to fight apathy and all these things, what's surprised you or what's pleased you in this time?
That's good. I think what's been surprising is just I think the need for this exists, right? That for all the things that we're doing exists. I guess one of the surprising things I've learned is we did the Big Table initiative, right? And we had a whole section around innovation and entrepreneurship. What's really surprised me was the fact that people didn't know about a lot of this stuff. So one of the key things, I think that's what we're trying to do is just awareness.
Right.
Right, that, and you mentioned it too, like people just don't realize in some cases, A, this stuff's going on, and B, these companies and these people that are doing this great work are here.
Right.
And there's a lot to be proud of, there's a lot to talk about, and that's just what we're trying to do is, share and promote those things that are already happening and then fill in the gaps where need be. So, I think I knew it was needed, right? Because with Startup Peoria and all those types of things. So it's been interesting to see, the people getting involved. And then the cool thing too is the audience evolves, right? It's not before when we did this, it was the same people showing up
Right.
every time,
Right.
right? There we're starting to see new faces, new businesses, all that type of thing. In fact, so Anna Palmer, if you remember
Right.
her, so she reached out to me yesterday. She's out in Boston, right? Has started a new company or a new startup called Doe, which is focused on helping female entrepreneurs
Right.
succeed. So
Remember
she
talking
reached
about
out to me yesterday and said, "Hey, can you give me a list of local female entrepreneurs that I can feature in our platform
Wow.
that have products that are makers, right? That they could then promote to their wholesalers." And I think back, back in 2013, 2014, that list was probably pretty small. But just real quickly, in my email to her yesterday, I'm like, here's 8 of them,
Wow.
right, that are doing some pretty cool stuff.
In this area.
In the area.
Right.
Yeah, so
So you're not discouraged
No.
when somebody comes up to you and goes, "Oh, it's just not going to work here," and blah blah blah, and we go through old stuff.
Right.
You're
yeah,
you're
and
right on
that's
task.
really where this kind of all started with back in last year of starting to travel to Chicago again and hearing that from people. But then being able to combat it and say, actually, no, let me tell you about this. So now if people bring that up, it's like, okay, you can go on and on and on and on and on and on with stories because they exist.
I
So,
know. It's all bad. Yeah, but
Yeah.
get to the end of it so I can tell you what's going on.
Right.
And that's, I think a couple of things come to my mind is, and then this is a good example of schedule events here. If you're not aware of the things that are happening in your community, and no one can always be aware of everything,
Right.
but then you really can't say there's nothing going on, or
Right.
I wish there was something, about, smart mobility or whatever it is, when there actually is next
Right.
Thursday at the Gateway Building. You're just not aware of that. Oh, you may be busy, you may be working. We understand all that, but the fact is, people like yourself are putting time into it to encourage things. Now, you opened up the Peoria Made building, and again, you probably have to explain this over and over because
Yeah.
people aren't always aware. You go downtown a little bit from where we are right now on Main Street, and you go down there crossing the courthouse, and there's this nice little office that it's not so little.
Yep.
It runs all back there. What's the idea behind Peoria Made?
Yeah,
Now
so-
that you have a location.
Right. So it's one of our other, we have 5 pillars for the Innovation Alliance. It's one of our other pillars, and it is I don't know, it's not just a physical space, but it's really intended to help some of our artists, artisans, makers, those that, make things with their hands, essentially, or voices or whatever it might be, have a place to display their goods, and really serve as kind of a retail incubator to help them get started, grow, and hopefully graduate, and move on to the next thing. So we just started, or launched, I shouldn't say just, it's been a month now, I can't believe it's March, launched our second cohort of merchants in the beginning of February. So we now have 22 different businesses that are represented there. Wide range of things. So lettering works and stickers, t-shirts.
I've seen the t-shirts.
Yep, artwork, dog treats. Bath bombs and lip balms, skincare products. What else? Toys. I mean, there's all kinds. It's a wide.
Can people actually buy them there?
Yeah, so they can buy them there. That's the intent. So what we've done is it's a consignment agreement, right? That these merchants pay a very, very small percentage in comparison to a lot of other consignment things. Bring their products in, check them into inventory, and then it's really up to them, and this is where it's an education thing. It's up to them to be able to merchandise, promote themselves, those types of things. But we handle all the collection of the taxes, all those types of things, and then promotion of the overall big picture. So that's in the front of the space. We also have we call it a co-thinking lounge, not a co-working space, but just a smaller area where people can get memberships, $50 a month, come in, hang out, do work, mingle with people, that type of thing. And then in the back, we have a learning lab. So if anybody had been to the Nest previously, when it was up above Sugar, we used to have a room where it was all whiteboard walls,
right?
Where you could host, brainstorming sessions, strategic thinking, that kind of thing. Well, we have that again. That's available for rent, $50 an hour. We've had a couple corporations come in, do workshops, those types of things. And then actually we're working with Peoria Life and Widecast to do a small podcast studio in the back as well. So
maybe we'll do one of these things down there.
We could. I don't know that we'll be on video, but we could do just the audio. So and then what we're doing too is with that we're hosting events, and then we do featured merchants each month. So February we had a local florist that works out of her home. She couldn't have stuff there every day, right? Because we don't have a big cooler. But we featured her on First Friday in February, and then also on Valentine's Day.
Speaking of First Friday, we should mention this Friday.
Yes, this Friday we're doing First Friday again.
At the very place we were just talking about,
Yep,
Peoria Made.
Peoria Made.
And what's the address?
315 Main.
315 Main Street, for
Yes.
people who want to drop by there. And you really need to drop by there because even if you don't, say, want to buy something right away, you just want to check it out.
Yeah.
Because I think this is an example, and you've worked hard on this, to sort of, I don't say push the boulder up the hill, but just, show that, hey, there's a spark here. It's not all just, no, there's nothing going on. Because we know once OSF gets in place around the corner,
Right.
That's going to feed probably a sort of a ripple effect. And the hub, innovation hub.
Yep.
There's so many things that are on the horizon right now.
Right.
You might want to get in there, now while
Right.
kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, and that was kind of our thinking with the establishment of the Innovation District that we worked on with the city last year, and then B, being able to have this place because we didn't want to just talk about it, right? And that's been kind of our whole mantra from the beginning of small incremental improvements to get us to where we need to be. So. And knowing that there are bigger things coming, let's get the ball rolling now and get it rolling uphill now. And then by the time some of those other things come into place, it's already somewhat established. We had a guy come in yesterday, that was just like, he came in the door and just started mumbling, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is just what we need." And just hearing his words were very encouraging. And on top of that, we've been contacted. It's crazy. I was contacted by the guy that is over the organization that manages Arrowhead Stadium and the Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City.
Wow.
He does consulting with small communities. And he's like, "Hey, I came across your stuff. Just want to know how you did this, what's your model, all that kind of thing." because he's trying to implement something similar in some of these other communities. So word's getting out there, which is good.
Well,
Yeah, can't complain.
Jake Hamann has been our guest here, and Jake, we got to keep you motivated and on task because it's leading to many great things. Peoria On Purpose, check it out, peoriaonpurpose.com/309 week. We'll give you a whole lineup of things to do starting next week, starting next Monday, and right on through. Great idea. Jake, we got to have you come back because Lord only knows what you're going to cook up the next time.
Well, we got to talk about the agro challenge next time.
Agro challenge. We got a little more time on that one
Yeah,
because
it's in April.
that's in April. But one thing after another. That's the beauty of when you have energy and a plan. So very good. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, we'll see you next time on Tarter Sauce.
PeoriaLife.com.
I know it goes so fast.
I know that one, yeah.
19 minutes is, I was like, boom.